What's up, baby?
What's up, my baby?
Oh, nothing. Just sitting here with my man with braids.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was thinking maybe I would dramatically take off my do-rag right before, like, on camera.
The fact that you even, like, brought that in here.
I mean, I need it just in case.
I
I don't know. Just in case of an emergency.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's been a minute since we've been here. We kind of took a week off.
Yep.
So we're in here.
Which we haven't done yet up to this
No,
point.
we
It's the
haven't.
first week that we've taken off.
Yeah, even if, like, we've had a trip or a vacation, like, we've kind of, like, planned it out appropriately to make sure we get everything in.
Yeah.
But we took a little break last week.
Mini hiatus.
Yeah, mini.
That doesn't mean that there will be any gaps because we have a few episodes in reserve. So that's why we were able to do it.
Absolutely. But we had a great weekend.
Awesome weekend.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the better. I mean, I say that
It's
every
less than a week. Yeah, because it's Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
like, we've had really, like, a good, like, 5 days
few
here.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had dinner with a few friends over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We went to Tiesto on Saturday. So we just talked like a couple weeks ago about how we went to Dead Mouse at Concourse Project. And shout out to Mark. Mark listens.
Thanks, Mark.
My cousin Mark is, I don't know, somehow connected to Tiesto. I'll get that story someday, I'm sure. But he hit me up asking if we wanted to be on the VIP list for Tiesto, which was like a cool little surprise, and went out there.
Yeah. And it was like that after dinner or like a cocktail bar.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's go to Tiesto.
Yeah, we'll do Tiesto.
And it was so much fun.
It was great.
It was a great
sick.
time.
It was really great.
Yeah, I was like sweating and other people's sweat was all over me. It was quite a scene.
Got to catch up with a few folks over the weekend. Yesterday, we took a really awesome day off. I guess we both took the day off, really.
Yeah, because yesterday was Tuesday, so like I had planned accordingly to have the day off, probably like a couple months ahead, because one of the doctors was going to be out, and so I was able to take the day off, and we got like some stuff done in the morning. We got some work, got our workout done,
We read, we meditated,
yeah, exactly.
we got a workout in, we went for a walk. We talked about what we're going to be discussing here on this podcast today.
Yeah, we did all our to-dos.
Yeah.
And then we had the day by like the pool for a few hours.
It was awesome. It was beautiful.
That was really nice. And then went to a fantastic dinner.
Yes, at Birdie's, which was our first time at Birdie's. And if you haven't been there, that's a must go to.
Yeah.
That was really amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then we went to Comedy Mothership for a show at like 10:30 last night. And at that point, it had been a really long day. And I don't usually get tired, but I was like tired. And we had been drinking a little bit. We drank a lot more this weekend than we have recently. A lot more this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and even yesterday, we drank a little bit.
Yeah.
At dinner. And I was like a little tipsy and definitely very high and definitely very tired by the time the show got out at like past midnight last night. I was saying like it felt like a dream, like waking up this morning, the fact that we were at that show.
The show, of course, said like ends at 11:45, and I like looked over at your watch because our phones are locked up, and I looked at your watch and I was like 12:15.
Yeah,
I was like, it's not even ending anytime soon. I was like, fuck it, like whatever.
It was great.
I had work this morning.
It was
at 8
worth
a.m.
it. It was worth it.
It's always worth it.
Yeah. And
like taking that time to like enjoy and have fun.
Yeah.
Like we're going. Like we need to stop.
It was the first day that wasn't a weekend or a holiday that I genuinely took to myself. And I even did do like a little bit of work, but nothing serious.
Yeah.
And it was the first day all year that I took to myself that wasn't like a weekend day or a holiday.
Yeah, because any trips we've had, you've also worked like on those trips.
Yeah. And then like even on weekends I work, and even on holidays I've been working. And yesterday was very much like I'm going to chill and enjoy myself. And we'll talk about why.
Yeah, it was a great day. But yeah, we did some work yesterday. We talked about what we're going to talk about today. And I think we are putting a lot of love and effort into this podcast. And I believe we're seeing benefits from it. The feedback we're getting is great. I'm loving how it's connecting with people, and people can relate to some of our stories, and that's kind of was my purpose in the beginning with this. So I'm loving it.
Yeah,
I'm loving the response.
We've certainly had so many people reach out, people who like we just met and then said that they after meeting us, went and listened to episodes, and people reaching out to us, honestly, out of the woodwork, people that I really would have never have expected to spend as much time listening to me talk as I would have anticipated, as they have, reaching out, texting, DMing, saying that they're listening, and obviously whatever we're putting out there is clearly resonating with people. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that it's not resonating with, and it's probably like cringy to them, or, you know, like, who are we to be putting our story out there and feel like we have something worth saying? But we know how I feel about that. There's a reason why this is called Genius at Work. And just the fact that it is resonating with anybody, like the reality is, like, you can never be everything for everybody. You need to find your niche, and that your niche should be exactly what you want it to be and what you're good at, and what people and the people who are interested in it will obviously gravitate toward it and attract toward it. And we have had that, you know, so much more than we probably would have thought coming into this podcast, and only having this will be like our 11th episode or something like that.
Yeah, we completely lost track.
Yeah, we lost track. But I mean, they say that only 1% of podcasts make it to 20 episodes, and we're more than halfway there at this point. Yeah. So not only do I see that as a success, but obviously the fact that clearly people they're clicking with it. Yeah. I've been getting people quoting me from this podcast regularly, which is really cool.
People coming up with topics that they want to hear us talk about. Yep. And again, people are saying it's relatable, like our stories. They're like, wow, okay, I can connect with that. I've had people tell me they like go back and listen to certain episodes just to like hear whatever that blurb was or that message was again. And it's really, really fucking cool.
Yeah. and I really am like so proud. I'm very proud of it.
I know. I'm loving like that we're able to help people in like this avenue, because it's like a large format, like the hour length versus just little clips here and there, like on Instagram.
And I think something that's important to point out is it's a lot of work on top of everything else that I'm doing. And it's not just a matter of sitting in here and recording it. I have to edit it. I have to post it. I have to cut up the clips for Instagram. And then obviously post those regularly. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, booking the studio and just coming up with the topic and making sure that we know, like, at least generally, like what we're going to be talking about when we're in here. And
then rewatching the hour-length episode. Like, us to even sit down and watch something for a full hour in one evening is difficult. Yeah. So we have to set aside the time, like, on whatever night of the week we can get to it. Sometimes it's like a Friday night at 9 o'clock, and we're like, okay, we have to, like, watch last week's episode to see what clips we want to make. Yeah,
and to, like, you know, just have a sense of what it's even about. Because, you know, when a few weeks go by, we forget what we said. I forget what I said as soon as I walk out of the studio, honestly. It is an immense amount of work, and again, something that sort of has built up more and more and more. Because once we start it, and we're releasing episodes every week, and we're putting out clips, which again, probably too many clips at this point, so we're going to be cutting back on that. Yeah. But once you start it, it's kind of like, well, I can't stop now. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep putting it out. So it kind of all builds up, and every time I've been starting something since the beginning of the year, I'm not one who starts something short-sightedly and like starts something like on a whim. Usually, if I'm starting something, I intend to finish it, and I intend to see it through and continuously build on it, whether that's anything that I do, whether it's like something for work or a habit or for business or whatever. So we're in it, and I need to put the work in to make it to be consistent, and to be thinking about this more long term.
Well, I guess let's chat about everything that you're working on.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot.
It is. Yeah.
And how, I know we've discussed how you feel your day, but there's lots of like big picture projects that are out there right now. And I say like break them down, and we can go from there.
This is going to be a tougher episode for me. I never take notes ahead of the episode, and you can see here that I have them in front of me today because I want to make sure that I get to everything.
Jared's about to show that he's human. You're a little vulnerable.
I'm not human. I am not human. My body is human.
That's right. Your body is human.
So at the beginning of the year, there was, leaving my job, and I've said countless times on this show that I have very big goals for myself. And I, of course, quit my job thinking that I was going to have a gym. But before I even left the job, it was clear that there wasn't going to be a gym, but I wasn't going to stick in my job. They gave me the option to stay, and I told them no. Like about a week before I left, they came crawling on back, asking me to stay, and I just couldn't do it at that point. I knew I had to move on, but I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do. And because I have my personal training certification that I got from UT last year, I figured at least I could become a personal trainer in the short term. We still at that point, and still do anticipate having a facility, although back then it was more of like a commercial facility. I've talked about this plenty of times on the show at this point. So there was kind of like the upstart of just getting a coaching business up and running, a personal training business around fitness. That isn't the long-term plan. The long-term plan, as I've also discussed, is to make it a more of a fitness and mindset coaching. It's not a life coach. That's not the way I look at this. I'm not looking at it as like some like coaching business. I'm looking at it as a far bigger enterprise that incorporates multimedia, it incorporates the podcast, it incorporates literature and a variety of other products that fall under the True Fitness and Focus umbrella. I said I want to be the short Jack Tony Robbins, and I mean that with all sincerity. And when people, that I interact with do talk about what I'm trying to do as if I'm trying to be an online coach, I need to shut that down moving forward immediately, because I'm not trying to be an online coach. I'm not working to be an online coach. I'm working to be the short Jack Tony Robbins and change people's lives, not just one-on-one people in my neighborhood in Austin who can make it to my gym. I'm working to impart far more value and far more knowledge to a very wide range of people near and far. To the masses. Yeah. And again, that's with the podcast, it's with the book, it's through courses and programs, and it is through the facility as well. And at the beginning of the year, those were all the things that I started to work on. And of course, in order to do that, it's taking on a lot. I started with the coaching because, and I've said this again before, it's immediate money. It's something that's pretty easy to pick up and do in terms of personal training. It's easy to find clients and train them, and it's something I don't need to have much experience in. I have experience in it. It's already in my DNA at this point.
I don't think it's like you say it's easy, but I think it was easy for you.
Yeah.
Because you put you put out all the feelers. I think we were definitely surprised how quickly you got your clients.
Well, I guess my point is, no.
Yeah, it's not easy for everybody. Just to get 20 clients within 2 weeks.
It's a matter of sales and fitness and talking to people and helping them get to their goals. I've been doing that for quite a while, maybe not professional. I mean, some of it professionally, some of it not, but I had all those components, and that was the easiest thing to spin up right now and get something going. I never even intended to make money in the first 6 months of being a coach. I was kind of thinking that it would be super small going. And I also figured that I'd be working on, which I am, on all these other things. But within 2 months, I had more clients than I could even manage. And I also closed quite a bit of upfront revenue, far more than I could have ever thought that I would. I have a financial document that outlines all the money that we have in the bank, all of our expenses, our mortgages, and all of that in a document. And it also shows a sunset of over the next however many years we can spend that money on a regular basis. And then I compare that document with what's actually in my bank account every month. And we are well above the mark that I anticipated to be at as of June 2024, which is fantastic. It's amazing. It's great. And because of that, when I was doing the coaching, and I am doing the coaching, but when I brought on all those clients early on, between the sales, between the trainings, between the check-ins, and of course, like moving forward, there's renewals and additional like systems and operations that have to be in place. I'm a one-man show, and I don't have a facility of my own, so I was up against a wall back in like early March, I would say, with all of those different components of the coaching business. And this was also around the time that we started the podcast, but we didn't actually put it out yet. We had just started recording it once a week. And I was focused, I got all my content down for the book in terms of the outline there. I was in the process of hiring my consultant who was going to help me build out my business model and my courses and my programming. And we had, at this point, decided not to do the commercial facility, but instead to do the residential real estate stuff. So now we have, those are like, 5 or 6 different projects.
And big projects. Like.
For what I'm trying to, I hate saying try, for what I'm building.
Yep.
That I was focusing on all at once. And obviously, because I had all those clients and I closed quite a bit of revenue, I was able to say, okay, well, clearly I have something that people want. I'm able to sell it. I'm able to provide to my clients and deliver for them, get them results. And now I'm demonstrating that people are renewing with me, which is amazing. But being a personal trainer, again, is not the long-term goal whatsoever. It's far, far broader than that. So we made the decision together that in March, I said, I'm not taking on any more clients for the time being. We have a foundation. We have a minimally viable product. Worst case scenario, I can go back to becoming a personal trainer. That's not going to happen. No. We have all this other stuff that we need to build out, and that's going to take who knows how long, 3 months, 6 months, maybe.
Build out the right way.
And build out the right way.
Yeah.
Through the end of the year, probably, to get all these things in a place where we have an enterprise and not just an online coaching business.
Right.
And that has been, we've done a lot over the last several months as I put a pause on my consultations. And I say I put a pause on my consultations, but I still have a few clients trickling in here and there, and I'm happy to have them. I really am. And I'm not taking on there, I don't think, any more than I can manage. But it's when you have money coming in regularly for a very long time and good money, and we're doing well, and all of a sudden, and then I leave my job, start making my own money on my own. That was like a shock, like that quickly.
And it was also obviously then like a good feeling too.
It was a
You're
great
like, wow,
feeling.
like people want my services.
Yeah.
Like I'm able to like provide this for people, and I'm getting paid for something that like I really enjoy and that I really want to be doing.
Yeah, you could probably like see me squirming around here like right now while I'm telling this story. I would imagine I feel like I'm moving a lot, like I'm fidgeting a lot. So we made that decision to say we're gonna stop taking clients for a while this way, because I can't do all the proposals, all the sales, all the like early funnel stuff, like continue with the content on Instagram, which is critical to that business model. Do all the onboardings, do all the in-person training sessions, and continue that while building out the broader business model that I want to build out for myself. So that's what we've been working on over the last few months, is putting the broader plan into place. My belief is that like money is obviously important, and revenue and profit, and having that sense of security of having like a consistent stream of revenue is critical. Of course, there's no doubt about that. But ultimately, money and currency in general is a man-made energy. It is energy. It can be used as energy. It can be wasted just like energy can be wasted. And I believe that it's an artificial, man-made energy. Real energy is love. Real energy is providing value to people, making people happier, making people better, improving their quality of life. And I'm in a place right now where, because we do have money in the bank, and because we do have 2 houses that we're sitting on, and that's kind of been a little bit of a challenge in and of itself, but
Patience,
but like
patience.
we have
Oh
the
my
patience,
gosh.
and when that does get offloaded, that means even more of like a cushion there. I am of the belief that if I provide as much value to the universe as I possibly can, that eventually I won't be able to stop the money from pouring in. And I already believe, like, at this point, I've taken on a lot, whether it is for like my clients that are paying me or for a number of people in my life at this point who I am helping. Maybe not like for financial reasons, but like
just to
because
do good.
because I feel it in my heart to help these people. That that by putting that out there, I feel like I'm already getting an immense amount of love back. I feel like I'm already getting like a ton of just good energy and I guess we'll just call it good energy, love, whatever, sent my way. And that is filling my cup. It is filling my heart. It is making me feel good. And like, I know I'm on the right track, regardless of like, if over the last couple months, like I've like pinched the hose on like money in general.
In the beginning, when you did make that decision, it was an underlying concern for you.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it kind of kept coming back. Like, anytime we would be on our walks, she'd be like, so there's no money coming in. Like, it just was always a constant thing.
It's just weird to see my bank account like dip and like not have stuff coming in. I'm sure like anybody here, if you kind of felt that or you can sense that, that would be a very like scary, very scary thing. And I'm genuinely not scared. I just know that like it's something that is A, not something I'm used to, and B, it's just different. Again, I guess it's something I'm not used to, and also it's something that most people would be freaking out by.
And I think it's also something from your childhood too, was always like an underlying concern or fear for you.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
For sure.
It always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that, well, that's maybe something for a different conversation, but yeah. So I just believe that by putting out as much value as I can and being a help to as many people as possible, that once I do have the pieces in place to have a scalable business that's not just me selling time for money, and that I have a variety of products and offerings to help people with, that it's just going to be like an absolute windfall. That's how I'm positioning myself right now. And even like, you know, with the love that we're getting through this podcast, like we're not making any money on this at this point. I think in the future we probably will, but right now we're certainly not. And this is a way for us to get our story out, for us to again provide value to people who are listening, and clearly there's plenty of people that are getting value. And this is like a one-to-many channel for us to give love and light and energy to whoever wants to listen. And again, the key is whoever wants to listen. But again, with that comes me tapping into my own resources, like my own energetic resources, and like exerting myself quite a bit
to create this.
And again, the love that I get back, like it does fill my cup, and it's outstanding. But you also have to understand that like my energy is not just put through to this podcast; it's put to all these other channels. And in the last week, I've had a couple conversations with people who are looking at my business like I'm an online personal trainer. I think that's how they're seeing it. And they're saying like, well, how come you haven't made money in the last few months? Why aren't you trying to sell, market, bring on new clients? And again, like to me, that's the panic move. Somebody was saying that I'm in a scarcity mindset because I don't have money coming in, but I'm like, I'm not in a scarcity mindset at all. I'm in an abundance mindset. I don't see it as like scarcity. I don't see the money not coming in as scarcity. I have more than what I need in the bank, more than what I was expecting in the bank. I don't think over the last couple months, I'm building for something bigger.
Exactly.
And not putting myself in a situation where I am making short-sighted decisions,
Fear-based decisions.
Fear-based decisions, scarcity-based decisions.
Exactly, yeah.
And also putting myself in a position where I was at the end of February, early March, where now again I have this whole influx of clients, and yes, I have money in the bank, but like I have no way to scale it. I took people on. I was building the rocket ship, you could say, as I was flying it in those first few months, literally in terms of like the programming, the diet stuff, the even just like the process by which I go through. I was like making it up in real time, and I was delivering on it. But to do that indefinitely without putting more systems in place to make this easier, make it more automated, outsource different components, it's just not going to work, and it's not going to get me to be the short Jack Tony Robbins that I want to be.
And it's just going to burn you out. If
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing over and over again with like not being able to like reach the next tier,
Then I am just a
you're just like
personal
tapped.
trainer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just like tapped out at personal
And,
trainer.
and again, there's nothing wrong with being a personal
No,
trainer,
but
but
that's
or an
not-
online coach. That's not my goal. So I had some folks in the last week, and people that I trust and people who I
Yeah,
respect.
absolutely.
They were pushing me to say, like, you should start training, or start selling, you should start marketing, you should be having revenue coming in. If you don't have revenue coming in, then you're not successful. And I don't see it that way. To me, the value that I provide to people and the love that I get back from that is what's demonstrating that I have something to offer and that I am successful in that regard alone. And as I'm getting that mutual benefit, and as I'm expressing and providing that mutual benefit back and forth, I'm building out the big thing that will really start being a money trap, I guess we could say. And I guess I have to go back to my notes because I'm like all over the place here. I guess the point, there's a few other things here too.
Yeah. What else?
Where are we? I've talked about my assistant on here before, and how my assistant, while he has gotten better in some ways, the last couple weeks have been very challenging there. I'll just be direct and to the point. He is under federal indictment. I've mentioned that before. 2 weeks ago, he slept through his Zoom court date. I was gonna tell like a more like funny version of that story, but like there really isn't a funny version to tell. It's not funny, and I kind of like I let him have it on the phone call. It was really upsetting for me to hear. It was honestly like a really like sad conversation for me, and I would say like,
Why was it sad for you?
because I have said here that like I see his success as my success. Like I really like have challenged myself tremendously to get him where he needs to be. And while I see some like glints of hope there, like quite honestly, like it's not enough. And I know he's watching. I would imagine he's probably listening to this at some point. It's just not enough. And like something like that is like so like bottom of the barrel, like horrific to do. Again, like it was a Zoom court date. It wasn't even he didn't even have to be there in person. He slept through it. Yeah. He woke up, he put his head back down, he slept through his court date, and he told me like 3 days later, and I lost it on him. And we posted on Instagram that I saged the house afterwards. That wasn't like a joke. Like I actually saged the house because I lost it on him. And basically said like, dude, like you're a mess, and like if you don't get this together, like I don't know, I can only help you so much. Like I can only give you so much assistance. Like I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. That, and then a conversation that I had with him a few days later drained me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're putting so much effort into helping him, and he's not helping himself.
No.
And so that to you is exhausting.
Yep.
And I think that also ties into with some of your clients right now. You're having to do a lot more accountability conversations. Yep. Some people are missing workouts. Some people are trying to move things, or like not following what you want. Yep. And I said to you, like, you're dealing with human beings. Like you're dealing with people who are gonna find excuses, who are not going to hold themselves accountable. That's why they're hiring you.
Yeah, I know. And I'm
And
happy.
you're having to work through those conversations
Yeah.
now, and you're like, this is so fucking annoying. And I'm like, this is it. Like,
I mean, like, it's my job. It's my
yeah.
job as their coach to hold them accountable, and it's my job to put energy into it. But
But
like,
it's-
I don't take that kind of stuff lightly.
No, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I am really honest with myself. I'm really honest with everybody in my life. I'm really honest with my clients. And if I ask if you're committed to something and they say yes, and then they're not getting it done, or if I ask, to keep me updated on their gym times and getting it done, and I'm not, or I'm texting them if they've been to the gym and I'm not getting updates, and then it turns out a few days later that they didn't get to the gym, like, I have to take that personally. If I didn't take it personally, then, or I wouldn't say I take it personally, I take it seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously
And,
is the
like,
right way to say it. I
do
take
you see it
se-
as like a reflection of you?
So I obviously just slipped and said I take it personally, and
Yeah.
like the reality is, like, I kind of do take it personally. I do take it as a reflection of me. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I feel, and maybe this is wrong of me, but I feel like I have to in order to take it as seriously as I do, because I want them to be successful. I don't want them to be missing days at the gym. I know that the way that they get to their goal is by getting to the gym every day that they're supposed to. And if they're not doing that, I go, well, then how could I have set expectations more clearly? Or what could I have said to, like, encourage them more? Or I look back at what I was doing. So I do honestly take it personally. And I think I have to, in order to bring as much energy to, like, the accountability conversations as I do. And that, once again, does drain me. And I do find it draining. But again, it's my job. So, like, I can't be upset about that.
I think that's where you're going to have to find a balance, though, moving forward and in the future, because you want to be the short Jack Tony Robbins. You will be the short Jack Tony Robbins, and you're going to cater and go towards the masses. And when your N is millions of people, there's going to be like a million who don't follow and aren't or mess up, and
Yeah.
you have to have those accountability conversations. So,
Yeah.
like, protecting, like, your energy in that, you're gonna have to find that balance, because
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem. Like, if
I
you
know.
just want to take it personally, and that's a reflection of you, like, it's kind of, it's a struggle,
I
because
know.
it's not, because it's
I shouldn't
them.
I shouldn't take it personally. I clearly shouldn't. But I also do have to bring energy to those conversations, and I have to care about it.
Yeah.
And, like, I care about it because I do go, like, man, I just talked to that person last week and they said things were going really well, and then, like, 3 days later they've skipped 3 workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go, like, what did I miss? Was I duped? Was I fooled? Did I not say the right things? Did
Yeah.
I not encourage them in the right way? Did I not make myself clear? Because, again, like, I do look at myself whenever there's a problem. I don't look at them. I go, oh, they're just lazy, or they're just, being stupid or something. Like, I do look at myself. So yeah, I do take it personally. And obviously I said that, and I didn't think I meant it, but, like, I do
Yeah.
mean it. Yeah, I do take it personally, and I have to figure out a way around that.
Yeah.
So all of that is to say that all of those things. So, and I guess I'll continue to say that with all these different projects, like I said about the podcast, we get it off the ground. We're doing it weekly. There's all these, like, all this behind the scenes work that has to get done on top of all the other things that I'm doing. And I'm handling the vast majority of it day to day, nitty gritty, like, in there editing clips. Those take an enormous amount of my time, way too much time.
Yeah.
Like, they're not worth that time, but they are critical
Absolutely.
to the big term picture. So,
And on top of that, you're getting all your workouts in. You're doing all your meditation, like all your mindfulness
I'm
practices,
lifting
everything.
my fucking ass off. I'm running my fucking ass off. I'm reading my fucking
That's
ass
right.
off.
Yeah.
I
3
have.
books, right? Or almost 3 books?
I'm almost done with my 3rd book.
Yeah.
And
3
actually,
weeks?
I'll get this one done in less than 3 weeks. So I'll be
Hell
3
yeah.
books in less than 3 weeks. Yeah.
Look at you.
Shout out, David. So, yeah, no, I'm pushing myself, like, to the absolute limit. I really
Yeah.
was, and I was feeling it for a minute.
Do you want to describe how you were feeling and how it affected you over the past couple weeks?
I haven't thought about how I was going to say this. I know what I'm not going to say.
No, we don't use that.
But so it was very strange. I was actually having a really nice Sunday. My mind, even through all of this, I just want to be very clear to everybody like that's listening or watching, even through everything that I'm saying, yeah, those like one-off conversations, and yeah, like the conversation with my assistant that I had to sage the house for, yeah, that was pretty intense and draining. But mentally and emotionally, like I've been in a really good place. Like,
for sure.
It's not like we're not having fun.
And you're present with them.
I'm present with everybody. I am like abiding by all of my same things that I always do. Like I'm still meditating. I'm being present. I'm being grateful. I am. What else? What I was gonna say? Oh yeah, like I said, like we're going out to dinners and hanging out with friends and staying social. Like I feel we're meeting new people and having awesome interactions, and like I feel really good. Like I actually felt very happy, and that's not me just saying that. Like it's the absolute truth, and I think that anybody that knows me and has hung out with me in the last couple months would like absolutely agree. And I actually was having a really nice conversation on a walk with a friend a couple weeks ago, and after I got off the phone, like I was like happy. I was like bopping around to music, and then all of a sudden, like I just felt a weird like tension.
Yeah.
I guess. Almost like I was gonna pass out like while I was walking, and it definitely like startled me at first because it was just something unlike anything like I ever really felt. And I had to kind of cut my walk short. And it got to the point in the 5 minutes from where I was to the house that I actually called you to say like, hey, get to the door really quick. And I got in the house and like I kind of had to sit on the couch, and I wasn't sure if I was having like a heart attack or a stroke or an aneurysm or something. I just know that I did not feel right.
You were definitely pale.
Yeah.
Your lips were white.
I walked in the house. I said, like, do I look okay?
Yeah.
And you said, you look like the color ran out of you. And I was like, I feel like really weird right now. Like, I feel like I almost like blacked out twice, like on my walk. And I had to sit on the couch for like a couple minutes, and probably like 30 minutes, I would say, and sort of like breathe through it and collect myself. And
took your vital signs, nurse Pooh.
And you couldn't have been like, you were like incredible about it. But I was basically saying like, I feel really like physically off right now. And I would be lying if at first I didn't like think that like something bad was like kind of happening to me. And I definitely like needed to sit down and like take a load off, but I ultimately breathed through it. We kind of came to the conclusion that, and this was like on a Sunday, and it was actually like a Sunday evening, and I still had like, I don't know how many things left on my to-do list. I had quite a few things left on my to-do list for the evening, and we came to the conclusion that whenever I was like thinking about what was on my to-do list to do that night, like I would get like a more intense like physical feeling, and keeping in mind that like mentally and emotionally, like I was actually like fine. I had a really nice day up to that point. And I wasn't even like earlier on cognizant of how I was feeling about my to-do list. It was like only when I was sitting on the couch thinking about the things that I had to get to, because like that was where I was at. I was like on the couch thinking I was maybe having a heart attack, but also like, but I can't have a heart attack. I have all these things to do.
I have my to-dos, and then I have to create my to-do list for the next week.
And the only thing I could describe it as is like it was an immense like tension in like my solar plexus chakra, which is like my solar plexus, which is like your drive chakra, which is kind of makes sense. Like maybe my drive chakra was like overactive or something. So that dissipated. We like went out that night and like got some stuff done and went out, even went and got something to eat, got work done. I kind of like shook it off. It was very odd. And then like over the next week and a half, it happened a few more times, where at this point, I knew that I wasn't dying, so that was good.
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't a heart attack or a stroke or an aneurysm, but it was like a very intense physical, we'll call it an attack. It was like a physical attack
Yeah.
of some sort that I've never had before. I've never experienced before. It sounded like things that I've heard other people describe before. And it was the first I've ever encountered anything like that. And every time it happened, you and I would talk, and I would tell you.
Which I think is very important.
Yeah.
For you to note when it was happening and what was going on, that you were able to tell me, like, I'm feeling this certain way again.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I'm good, but like physically, something is going on.
Yeah.
And that is a huge piece, and something that maybe people can take away is if you're having these thoughts or these feelings that are most likely coming from a thought or something going on, talk to somebody about it and like work through it. Don't hold it in. Don't be like macho man, masculine, I can do it all. Because ultimately I was like, we need to figure something out because your physical is shutting down.
Yeah.
And long term, you're not going to be the short Jack Tony Robbins because you will have that stroke. You will have that aneurysm. Or,
I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will.
No, but you won't. You won't.
No, I won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I don't know how real the physical thing was. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to say a couple things is, we've shot, I think, 2 episodes since I felt that the first time, and I wanted to talk about it on here, but I honestly, like, I'm still processing it, and you could probably tell, like, right now, like, as I'm speaking, I am in real time during this conversation still processing, like, what I was feeling and what I was going through, because it was genuinely bizarre. It would be one thing if I felt immense, like, feelings of stress up to that point, or immense feelings of like anxiety or something up to that point, but I didn't. It was like, it kind of like just hit me out of nowhere. And again, I realized for some reason when I was thinking about my to-do list, that it came up. Now here's something that's interesting that I told you like once maybe. Earlier that week, this is the first time this ever happened. It was like Wednesday night, and I was looking at my to-do list, and there was like 7 things left on it at like 8 o'clock at night. And I remember I said to myself out loud, I go, this is fucking stupid. And I even like caught myself for a second. I was like, that was weird. Like, I've never said that before out loud. Like, I never said that before out loud. Even thinking it right now, like, gets me in my solar plexus a little bit. I never thought that before. Really weird. And I like, again, like, I was kind of like,
you're like, who was that?
Yeah, who was that? I literally was like, who was that just said that? I really did. And then I didn't think about it. And then like that Sunday night. So every time I had that feeling, and again, it probably happened like 3 or 4 times over the course of a week and a half, we would talk it through. I talk about being unfuckwithable. I talk about not letting your emotions control you and like being in control of your emotional impulses. But and I think people always hear you should suffocate. Like, I think a lot of people take that as you need to suffocate your feelings. You need to not acknowledge your feelings. You need to hold those back. And I want to be very clear. I have always, always, always said it's the opposite. It's the absolute opposite. The goal is not to feel your feelings. The goal is to feel them, realize what they are, acknowledge them, and then dig deep to figure out why you're having that feeling. And then either fix that thing or channel that energy into something productive or something, I guess you could say productive. There is never an excuse to hide your feelings or hide your emotions. That's what a lot of the conversations on this podcast are about, is the value of knowing yourself, knowing how you're feeling, and being really in touch with that, and then leveraging those emotions or that insight that you can gain from that to improve yourself and make yourself better, and put that in any direction that is going to actually like get you to your big picture goal that you have in your life. When I came home, I was not sure I would be lying if I didn't say there was a part of me where I was like, am I even going to admit that I'm feeling this way. But I was like, no, this is different. This is weird.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of thing that I hold back on. So I walked into the house and I immediately told you how I was feeling. And I was sitting there and I was saying, like, I feel good. Like, mentally, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Emotionally,
you
I'm
kept saying
fine.
that.
Like, what is wrong? Like, what is going on here? And, like, I was just, as I do, I was just talking and talking and talking until I try to talk myself down to whatever was, like, getting to me. And again, whenever I was thinking about the to-do list, that's where I kind of felt that feeling, and it was because through
You're
that
like, it's happening again. I'm feeling it again.
Yeah.
And like, then your like palms would get like real sweaty and you had to like sit back and I was just like, oh God.
So like the first time it was sort of like, okay, well maybe you need to put less on your to-do list every day. And then it happened a few days later, and it was like, okay, well, maybe we need to offload some of this stuff. And then it was a few days later, and like every time it happened, it was like we had to kind of dive into it a little bit more and make more and more sense of it. And I'll say, like, as of this last week, it was like last Friday or something, I was actually able to have important conversations with people. I changed my workout program to be more flexible and allow me to still hit my goals and still like work my ass off with it, but just in a way that's just a lot more manageable and like sustainable based on like the changes that I've gone through and like the way that my schedule is over the last 6 months.
So you're saying you noted like these are the things that have to change, and so you made those changes.
Yeah. So over
the
that
workout.
Yeah. So over that week and a half, like through that those conversations that we would have during those attacks, I was able to like define what needed to change. And then last Friday, not only did I identify what needed to change, but I actually like sat down and like I was actually making on my computer my new workout program. And I like swear to God, as I'm like typing out like the exercises I'm going to be doing, I felt like all that tension, like just like release and release and release and release. I felt it like all through my body, and I was like.
And I think something else was really interesting during that week and a half, 2 weeks. The thought of eating, the thought of digesting almost seemed like a chore to you. Like your appetite was really down, and then as you're breaking through and working through all these different areas of where to take things off, I remember like all of a sudden your stomach was rumbling. Like it was like almost like you were digesting.
It was like I was.
Have you been constipated?
I actually like was like kind of constipated for like those couple of weeks. I wasn't like really constipated, but I was not going to the bathroom the way I normally do. And like that Friday, like I not only did I feel all that tension, and like I breathe, and I breathe into my diaphragm, and I breathe into my belly and all that stuff, and I know how to like loosen myself up. I've done it 1,000 times before. I know how to like breathe and like loosen up my back muscles, because that was another thing that was happening, was like I had throughout my neck, my traps, and my upper chest, it was like I didn't know. I was insane. I've never had a feeling like that before. And I'm usually really good at like breathing through and like releasing that. And like, it kind of wasn't working. So yeah, as of last Friday, I actually got an opportunity to not just acknowledge what needed to change, but sit down and truly make the changes. And in real time, I was feeling myself release in a pretty significant way. And I would also say that like, once again, I think all the work that I've done up to this point, when it comes to like mindfulness and presence and breathing and inner work of like self-reflection, it allowed me to, when that came up, it allowed me to say like, okay, there's something happening here. I know like I'm too healthy to be having a heart attack, or I'm too healthy to be having a stroke. I also know that like I don't feel that tense on like a day-to-day basis. I don't like. I think anybody who knows me knows I don't walk around all tense. I walk around like pretty loose. I think. I think I am. Like I'm intense at the gym. I'm intense in certain situations, but like I'm not like intense like all day long. Sometimes on here I can be a little bit intense. So I just knew like I wasn't like, I knew it couldn't be a physical thing. It had to be something that was happening in my brain. And again, through that talking, I was able to work through it to the point where there is an immense amount of pressure on me at this point. I do have a lot of people that are relying on me, clients and not, friends, family. I have a lot of people that.
And again, you're taking it on yourself that
Do-
people are not doing their workout, that you're taking that personally.
Yeah,
And that's
and I'm saying
thing.
like my goal is to add value to the universe, to the world, to the people in my life, to make other people successful, and to bring as much love. And I have to pour that out of myself. I have to
Yeah.
pour that out of my cup, and like, I guess in doing that, I must have just hit empty.
exactly.
I think that's really what it comes down to. I think like I just hit empty.
And I was saying to you, like, you were doing things, like, you were having those moments of, like, oh, my cup is like filling up because of this and this, but like you were draining so much so
Yeah.
quickly, and then not allowing yourself to even get to like a quarter tank full
Yeah.
before it went empty again.
Yeah.
And so we stepped back. You made the adjustments. Got some
We're
reinforcements.
making the adjustments, but we
Getting
are actually making those
reinforcements,
adjustments. Yeah.
Changed up your workouts. We took yesterday off as a moment to just really fill the cup,
Yeah.
fill the tank all the way. Do you feel full?
I feel pretty full right now. I just want to like. This is me being like as vulnerable as I could possibly be.
I know. Where are the tears?
I know.
Come on.
I did. I will say.
Yeah, that's.
There was one day where I was like, man, like I feel like if I cried, like it would really help, but like I didn't cry. I don't know. I'm not saying I wouldn't cry. Like I don't have a problem with crying.
I know.
I cry listening to Kanye, but maybe I should have put on some Kanye. But like, yeah, it was. We made some adjustments. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better. Now that's not to say that like all that tension is relieved because there's still work to be done. Of
course.
And like, I know really that. I'm gonna hit this again. This is something that I think I'll probably just have to deal with for a very long time. Is I'm going to build, overextend, hit empty, have to just reevaluate, outsource things, get leverage, hire people to help, and then I'll go move on to the next thing. I'll extend myself until I hit empty again, and then I think that's something. But now I know where that line might be.
Exactly. I think now you know like when you're gonna hit that,
Yeah.
and you know those feelings or that sensation,
Yeah.
and we'll adjust accordingly.
But I want to say, like, even through all that, I'm not gonna lie. Physically, all I wanted to do was lay on the couch. Physically, all I wanted to do was lay in bed. I kind of wanted to like put my head on the pillow and sleep through my court date. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to do that,
but you didn't.
but I didn't. I did the work. I reflected. I understood that there was clearly something that was happening with me that needed to be addressed. I did that work in myself, and I've made these changes, and it's allowed me to now feel a lot better and a lot more free. And again, I'll say that like I talk about being unfuckwithable, and what that means is that being unfuckwithable doesn't mean that you don't get attacked. It means that you don't you work through it in the appropriate way,
Yeah.
and that you have the tools to work through it appropriately, and that you have the honesty with yourself to work through it appropriately, and that you can look at it from that higher self, third person perspective, not be wrapped up in the tension that's in my back or the tension that's in my chest or the tension that's in my solar
Or the victim,
plexus.
like I'm getting everything's
Yeah,
against me right
yeah.
now. Everything's building up on me. I'm crumbling.
Yeah, oh no, like is this
Yeah.
all like not gonna work out? Like how am I gonna respond to this? It's like it's not like I didn't miss work. I didn't miss my tasks. I didn't miss a workout. I didn't miss a page in my book. I knew what I had to do, and it wasn't because I just plowed through and pretended it wasn't
No.
happening. It's because I sat down. I go, okay, I think hitting empty is a really good way of thinking about it. That's something that I just came up with now. But like I'm hitting empty. How do I feel? How do I get full again? And I think like taking the day yesterday was good. And like I took the day yesterday. I planned the rest of my week so that I wasn't missing anything that I had to do or that I would normally do. And we still got it all done. And I have plenty of stuff that I still kind of want to like say, but do you have any? I'm kind of done about talking about those.
Yeah, I say let's talk about then the topic.
Because I think so. Earlier this week, while I was interestingly enough doing my to-do list and doing my PEDs for the week, my planning, execute, dominate, which again, it's like that. Like that's if I wasn't doing that, then I'm retreating.
Right.
I need to continue to move forward, and I'm not letting this affect me in a way where I'm like, well, I just need to slow down. I need to take it easier. It's like, no, I just need to like, there's other ways that I can get the things done that I have to do and still like make progress and still like give myself the leeway to be able to like, find these various off ramps or, give myself enough leeway where like I can get everything done that I need to and not be empty. And while I was doing my PEDs and while I was doing my to-do list, a friend sent a YouTube video about what it was called the toxic champion mindset. And it was talking about Michael Jordan, and it was talking about Kobe Bryant. It was basically saying that those people were not gifted in the sense that they were like such hard-headed winners with such a killer instinct. In fact, it said that they were not gifted, they were cursed. And it said that in doing that and in being that kind of hard-headed, like toxic champion mindset, that it's not virtuous because it's done to serve your own ego. And like what Michael Jordan was doing was just to prove himself the best and to disprove everybody else. And that Kobe Bryant was doing the same thing. He was working his ass off, and he even has a quote saying like, my goal was to prove that like, no matter what, I'm always going to work harder than you. I think that's badass as hell. I think that is sick. I love it. I love Kobe. I love Michael Jordan. I love like that level of absolute discipline and that killer instinct and everything that comes with it. But they're saying it's not virtuous because it's to serve your own ego and to put other people down. And for me, I want to be clear that when I talk about being unfuckwithable and when I'm posting videos of me lifting the most ridiculous weight at the gym, and when I'm talking about the fact that I'm not going to stop doing my PEDs, my to-do list, my calendar, when I talk about the fact that like I didn't like reading and I was a slow reader and now I'm speed reading and I'm finishing my third book in 2.5 weeks, that is not, yes, I will say, as a side effect, it does boost my ego. It does give me like a lot to be really proud of. It does make me vibrate higher. And it does like reveal itself in like me doing stuff like putting cornrows in my hair because it's like, you know what? Like,
why not?
Why not? I'm the guy that I want to be. I don't have to be the guy that you want me to be. I'm really proud of myself. I don't give a shit if
you know who you are, like you're inside your character. Like, so what you are on the outside is just...
And I'll say, like, it does, like, that's even the cornrows themselves, like, I'm not doing it to say, like, this, like, look at me, I'm so great, I'm better than you. I'm doing it to demonstrate that everybody else has that in them. It just takes a level of self-belief. It takes a whole lot of hard work. I've said, like, I'm not doing anything that other people aren't capable of. I'm just doing something that they're not willing to do.
And hold themselves accountable to.
Yeah. And if you're willing to do it, if you're willing to do the work, then like you are capable of that. You are capable of the things that I put myself through. And I'm not saying that you have to put yourself through them, but you don't have to put yourself through all the things that I put myself through. But like you could put yourself through the things that you know you need to in order to achieve the goals that you have for yourself.
Like what their challenges are for themselves. Like put yourself through the challenge.
I'm not saying you have to be short Jack Tony Robbins. I want to build an empire where I'm helping as many people as I possibly can, and I want to help 10 times as many people as Tony Robbins has in my own way and with my own brand and with my own system. But like you don't have to do that. But like you know what you want to do, and I want to demonstrate to you that you can make that happen if you believe in yourself, if you put the work in.
So that's what you're saying with the champion mindset then, that what you're demonstrating, what you're showing, you're kind of leading by example, saying like, you can do it too.
Yeah. I would never show up.
So it's not you putting anyone down.
Yeah.
It's saying like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
You can do it too if you have your goals and you work towards them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so
Yeah.
I would say I don't have a toxic champion mindset. Like I want other people to have that belief in themselves.
Yeah.
I have an analogy. It's my fire analogy. And in order for a fire to be a fire, in order for a fire to exist, fire needs three things. It needs fuel, it needs heat, and it needs oxygen. All right. So fuel being like wood or whatever's burning. Heat being the magnifying glass in the sun. And then oxygen, of course, like it needs oxygen in order to grow into a fire. And I think that in order for a person to be the best version of themselves, they also need three things. And you can relate them to like fuel, heat, and fire. Fuel is the like the skills and the talent necessary to be successful. Whether that's artistic talent, whether that's like salesmanship, whether that's maybe you're like an incredible at caring for people and you're like an excellent nurse, or like intellect, whatever it is, like fuel is the skills. Heat is the passion, like the desire, the drive to be something. So, of course, like you could be the greatest chef ever, but if you don't have the desire and the burning passion inside of you to open a restaurant, well, then you're not going to open a restaurant. You're not going to be a world-renowned chef. And like, if you don't have that fire, then it doesn't really matter. But I think a lot of people do have a passion and a desire to be more. I think a lot of people don't really know what that is, or they have to, as we've talked about previously, like find out what that purpose is. But I think a lot of people have something inside of them that goes, you know what? I think I am meant for more than this. So I think a lot of people have heat. I think most people would say they have skills. I think a lot of people would say like, I have some sort of skill. If you don't think you have a skill, then like, what are you doing with yourself? Like, how are you spending your day? Like, you don't think
going through like the motions or something.
If you think you're good at your job and that you should have your job, then you probably believe that you have some sort of a skill. So like, again, heat is the passion, fuel is the skill. So the only third thing that you need to become the truest version of yourself, the best version of yourself, your highest potential, is oxygen. And oxygen to me is the self-belief and the understanding that it can be done if you take that heat and you take that fuel and you put them to work and you take that plunge. That's the oxygen. And like, my goal in my life is to blow oxygen on as many people as possible, as many little like sparks and little kindling fires as possible, and like blow them up to be raging wildfires. That's what I want for my career. That's what I say when I say I want to be the short Jack Tony Robbins. And again, even when it comes to like the cornrows, for example, like this is just to prove like, listen, I'm still me. You might think whatever you want to think about somebody with cornrows, or you might think that somebody's crazy for being a white boy with cornrows. But it's like, I'm still me. I'm proud of myself. I don't need you to be proud of me. I believe in myself. I believe that I know who I am. I know what I accomplish in a day. Like, my goal is to demonstrate, like, if you believe in yourself, you could do whatever you want. And all you need is like that oxygen to be blown on you. And me coming on here and telling the fact that I was having those attacks is me doing just that. If this was ego driven, I would not be on here admitting that I felt that way. I would not be on here saying that I missed a beat. I wouldn't
admit to it.
I wouldn't admit to it. I would say like, I'm unstoppable, well, which I am. I'm unstoppable, but it's not. But again,
you're unfuckwithable.
I'm unfuckwithable.
Because you know how to deal with these situations.
Because I can deal with it. Because I can get attacked. And the more unfuckwithable you become, the more you get attacked. The more attacks you're going to have. And I can get attacked. It's how you respond to the attack that determines whether you're unfuckwithable or not. So, that's, I guess, what I wanted to make sure that I came on here and said.
Yeah.
And again, this is me being very vulnerable, but I think in order for me to demonstrate that I am virtuous in the way that I go about my life, that I am here to actually help people, that I am here to make people believe in themselves more, and also that I am, not that I will be, but that I am the short Jack Tony Robbins, I have to come on this podcast and tell those stories.
Absolutely.
So that's what I
It's
have.
a way for people to connect with you.
I'd say so. Hopefully.
Yeah. I would say so.
Good. Well, I'm happy at that point.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you feel any relief of getting that off?
I feel like I worked through some things,
Yeah?
or maybe a little bit. Like, again, I think like the idea of hitting empty
Uh-huh.
is sort of a interesting way of thinking about it. I think that's fair, because I do think like the more I think about it, it was just, I said money is an artificial energy, and I believe that it is. Love and value, and there's other energies that are out there that are real, that are universal, that weave the nature of the universe together and weave in and out of us. And whatever that energy is, like, I think I'm giving a lot of it out, and
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I'm finding ways to bring that energy back to me, or at least find a rhythm where I can exert as much of that energy as possible, but make sure that I'm getting my tank filled back up, as opposed to, like you said, like getting like $5 here
Exactly.
and $10 there.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
All right.
Is that
I'd
it?
say it's a wrap then.
All right,
What time we
cool.
at?
All right, see you guys.
Yeah. Bye.